Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Wednesday, only here on Oldies and More Radio, also broadcasting live on YouTube. Want to welcome you to the June 7th, June 7th, 2023 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G for the All Soul Show. We do it every Wednesday from 9 to midnight with a little bit of overtime. And I want to welcome you to the show. If you're new to the program, those of you watching Johnny G on YouTube, please subscribe to my program, as this is a very unique show featuring original vinyl. You see the real records as I hold them up to the webcam there. What other show does that, really? You can't really show an MP3. You're hearing the real thing here. Some of the records tonight have some pops in them. Most of them are pretty nice, but, beggars can't be choosy when you get the records, though. But we opened up tonight's 60s edition with the pianist, keyboardist, and band leader Earl Van Dyke is first of 9 on Berry Gordy Jr.'s Soul record label. Soul Records, a subsidiary of Motown Records. Tune written by Richard Street and Berry Gordy Jr., September 1964. Earl Van Dyke on Soul Records. It's called Soul Stomp. That's what we do here on the program. Let's open up the vocal portion now with this group out of Philadelphia. 3 members of this group previously were members of the Dovels, and they recorded for Parkway Records, had a big hit in 1961. It was called the Bristol Stomp. Len Barry, he was the lead singer of the group, but he left the group, but the group continued to record. They did have a release on the MGM label back in 1966 as the Dovels, but in 1968, they added a female lead. Her name was Jean Hillary, and they changed their name to the Magistrates. And their first release, which came out in May of 68, was a song called, like a novelty tune, called Here Comes the Judge. But this was their follow-up. Again, features Jean Hillary on lead. We go to August 1968. Let's give a listen to the Magistrates on MGM. It's called After the Fox.
Hey, baby! Come on, get on that horse now and after that fox!
Come on, baby, let's run!
Ride it to the beat now, baby!
Feel the groove of the stride!
Feel it in your feet now, baby! And when you hear all the say the
We open up from August 1968, the Magistrates. Magistrates there with Gene Hillary on lead. After the Fox is the name of the tune. That is their second of two on the MGM record label. And on the May 10th All 60s show, opened up the vocal portion with the B-side of the Fifth Dimension's debut single on Johnny Rivers' Soul City record label. It was called Train Keep a Movin'. But let's give a listen to the intended A-side here before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. It's a tune written by Willie Hutchinson, and their first of 14 on the Soul City record label. Features St. Louis-born Billy Davis Jr. on lead. In 1959, he was the lead singer of the St. Louis-based Emeralds, recorded for the Bobbin record label. And this song 7 years later, and this is like not the normal sound for the Fifth Dimension. It's from October 1966, the Fifth Dimension. This is their debut single on Soul City Records. It's called I'll Be Lovin' You Forever. As Billy Davis Jr. on lead there with the Fifth Dimension, their debut single, October 1966, sounding much different than Up, Up and Away and Aquarius. That tune called I'll Be Loving You Forever. Soul City Records, that's their first of 14, and a song that was number 10 on KGFJ. If you were listening in Los Angeles, California, back in the fall of 1966. Let's continue here. This gal, she's from from North Carolina. Many of her releases were country-based, but she had some that did crossover, and this was one of them. It's the B-side to her third of 5 that she had on the Brunswick record label. This tune directed by Bert Keys. Let's go to April of 1964. Give a listen to Demetrius Tapp. Demetrius Tapp on Brunswick Records. It's called What Kind of Girl, parentheses, Do You Think I Am?
Do you think that you can walk all over me anytime you want to? Don't you think I got a heart like anyone else? And do you think that you can ask me to forgive you and that I always understand what kind of girl? Tell the other guys I'm a pushover. Do you really think it's fun to see me cry? And do you really think that you can keep me happy with kisses that are second hand? What kind of girl? What kind of girl? Did you think that I was gonna hang around waiting forever? Tell me, how much is a girl supposed to stand? And did you think that you could keep on running back to me and that I'd be yours to command? What kind of girl?
April 1964 release there. Her name is Demetrius Tapp. That's her third of 5 on the Brunswick record label. April 1964, What Kind of Girl Do You Think I Am? Is the question she's asking. Anyway, Johnny G not asking a question. I'm playing here. We head to Detroit, Michigan for this next group. They recorded 2 for the New York City-based Big Top record label. Their first charted nationally. You may know the song. It was called Misery, number 44 on Billboard, number 40 on Cashbox. But the group consisted of Fred Baker, Stiley Chaser, Samuel Stevenson, and George White. Collectively, they were known as the Dynamics. This one is from March of 1964, their second release on Big Top Records. Give a listen to the Dynamics. Their tune is called And That's a Natural Fact.
Why do you have to go? Thought you love me so. Why do you have to leave me? To bear this misery. Hey, I gotta get you back, and I do mean that. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Tell me, what can I do? what can I do? 'Cause I still love you. 'Cause I still love you. Oh, wish that I could die. But all I do is cry. Hey, hey, I gotta get you back. And I do mean that. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Oh, and that's a natural fact. I can't believe it's real. Pretty baby, that's the way I feel. I know I've been that touch, 'cause it meant so much. 'Cause it meant so much. Meant so much. Hey, hey, I gotta get you back. And I do mean that. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Memories of you are gonna keep me blue. Gonna keep me blue. Maybe then someday. Maybe then someday. We'll be back to stay. Hey, hey, I gotta get you back. And I do mean that. Oh, and that's a natural fact. Oh, and that's a natural fact.
A group called the Dynamics. The Dynamics there, March 1964, on the Big Top record label, and that's a natural fact. That's their second release on the Big Top label. They have other releases, I think Top 10, RCA, Cotillion, and a couple other labels they do. The Dynamics. We continue here, and up next is a special request. I saw him. He came into the YouTube chat room for Philadelphia listener Paul Greco. Now, Paul Greco is celebrating a wedding anniversary today. Today is Paul Greco's wedding anniversary with his wife Linda, and we want to wish Paul also a belated birthday, because yesterday was Paul's birthday. There you go, May 9th. But today, it's Paul and Linda's anniversary. So let's send this next tune out to Paul and Linda. The group began recording back in 1961 for the Philly-based Gowan record label. In 1966, they signed with Leon Huff and Kenny Gamble's Gamble label. They would have 24 releases through 1974. This is their fourth release. It features Sam Little Sonny Brown on lead. This charted number 48 on Billboard, 57 on Cashbox, number 9 on the R&B chart, and a big number 1 record on KATZ in St. Louis, Missouri, by special request and dedication to Paul and Linda on their anniversary. Go to May of 1966. Let's give a listen to the Intruders. The Intruders on the Gamble label. The tune is called Together.
Lost without a place to go, and we're so in love with each other that we wouldn't even know. Oh, I don't care, any place, anywhere, just as long as we're there, baby, together, baby. Together, baby, just you and me. Oh, how happy we'll be, and oh, we could be in poverty, no one to lend a helping hand, but it's alright, I know.
That's the sound of the Intruders there. Sam Little, Sonny Brown on lead. May 1966 on the Gamble label. Song entitled Together. Special request and dedication for Paul Greco and his wife Linda. Paul's in the chat room. Also, belated birthday wishes yesterday for Paul. So happy birthday, Paul. Hope you dug that tune. I know I did. They were talking about the cover of that tune. Tiara did that 45 back on the Boardwalk record label. I bought it when it came out in 1980. My aunt had the copy from 1966, so there you go. I have both those 45s. Johnny G here on a Wednesday evening on Oldies and More Radio, spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it from 9 to midnight right here. Glad you can join the party here. Let's continue here for this next white Motown act that was a model and actress first and a singer second, and she won a nationwide beauty contest organized by Teen Magazine. It was titled Miss Teen USA. She was born in Cape Charles, Virginia, and she was 15 years old when she recorded these sides for the Motown record label. Now, this tune here that I'm featuring is a cover first recorded by Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye did this record first. I think it was a flip side of A Stubborn Kind of Fellow. I think it was, with the Vandellas backing her up. But let's give it a spin here. March 1963, Connie Van Dyke. Connie Van Dyke's her name. It's on Motown Records, and her rendition of the tune, It Hurt Me Too.
Every time she broke your heart, it hurt me. Yes, it did. I should laugh and say, I told you so. I could have told the whole wide world she'd leave you sad and blue. I could laugh and say, oh, it's good for you. 'Cause I knew she would hurt you. I knew she would hurt you. Oh, I knew she would hurt you. I knew she would hurt you. Oh, and every time she hurt you, oh, don't you know it hurt me too? Yes, it did. I should say that you had it coming to you. Oh, when you walked out and you turned your back on me. Turn your back on me. I pleaded, baby. Oh no, please don't go. 'Cause I knew she would hurt you. I knew she would hurt you. I had a feeling she would hurt you. I knew she would hurt you. Oh, and every time she hurt you, oh, don't you know it hurt me too? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She said she had you dancing on a string. As far as love goes, you were just another fling. I may be a fool, I mean to love you like I do. Oh, but don't you realize that even fools have a feelings too? So, baby, come back and let me dry the tears from your eyes. 'Cause I would never hurt you. I would never hurt you. Oh, now you know I'd never hurt you. I would never hurt you. Because now if I ever hurt you, oh, don't you know it'd hurt me too? Every time she broke your heart, it hurt me. Yes, it did.
Cover tunes here on the All 60s edition. That's Connie Van Dyke. March 1963 on the Motown record label, It Hurt Me Too. First recorded by Marvin Gaye. Now, I tried to find a picture of this gal, and she was in I'm calling it a blockbuster movie, but I don't know if it was. If anybody out there saw the film Among the Thorns, one that I don't know anything about that film. Maybe you can check it out somewhere. She also has other releases too. She's got a one on the Wheelsville label out of Detroit in 1966. But there you go, Connie Van Dyke. Let's continue here. Let's go to this out to California now. This vocal quartet, they formed in South Central Jordan High School. Now, the original group was founded in 1964, consisted of twin brothers Walter and Wallace Scotty Scott. They were previously members of the Utopians that recorded for the Imperial label back in the early 1960s. Other members were Marcus Hudson and Nick Caldwell. This is their seventh release on Lou Bedell's Dore record label. As we go out to the West Coast now for the sound of the Whispers, it features Walter Scott on lead. This charted number 33 on WEBB if you were listening in Chicago, Illinois from June 1966. Let's give a listen to the Whispers. It's on Dore Records. It's called Take a Lesson from the Teacher.
You can read a storybook. You can turn from page to page. There is no end to the story called love. So take a lesson from the teacher. Yeah. If you don't know, take a lesson from the teacher. Many heartbreaks have I gone through, and many sorrows have I known too. Take a lesson from the teacher, yeah. If you don't know, take a lesson from the teacher. Now you can close your storybook of love, and there's one lesson we all should learn, that the greatest thing in life is to love and be loved in return. The story of love.
Those are the Whispers out of California there, June 1966. That's their seventh release on Lou Bedell's Dore record label. Take a lesson from the teacher. Johnny G is your teacher tonight here on the All 60s edition. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here as I teach you about these 45s out of my collection as we head to Detroit, Michigan now for this next singer. She had 3 overall releases. Now, her first release came out in early 1964 under her real name, LaWanda Williams, but with her second 2 releases, she recorded as Juanita Williams. It's on the Golden World record label. This charted number 24 on KATZ in St. Louis, Missouri. This is arranged by Sammy Lowe. I tell you, record collectors out there, if you're going through a box of records and you don't know anything about the songs and you see Sammy Lowe on the label, buy the 45. It's 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a good record. This is from September 64. Let's give a listen to Juanita Williams. Juanita Williams on Golden World. The tune is called Baby Boy.
talking about my baby boy, my baby.
September 64 release there for Juanita Williams on the Golden World. I think it's Ed Wingate's and somebody else's Golden World record label. Baby Boy is the name of the tune. She would have one more release on Wingate Records in 1965. In 67, she would form the Honeybees with her sister Barbara Ann Williams and Mary Lewis. But that is Juanita Williams. Let's go back to Philadelphia now. Found this old request for listener Paul Greco, who is in our YouTube chat room. This group first recorded for the Whale label back in 1967. They followed it up with 5 releases on Vent Records, another Philadelphia-based label. Now, Paul requested their first release, their first of 5, written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Ron Presson. Ron Presson on lead. This charted number 5 on WDAS in Philadelphia, if you were listening to that station. So this is by request for Paul Greco in our YouTube chat room, September 1966. They are called The Ethics. The Ethics on Vent Records. It's called Think About Tomorrow for Paul. Those are the Ethics there by request. Whoops. By request for Philly listener Paul Greco, September 1968. Oh, 68 release. What did I say? 66? Says 68 on here. Vent Records, Think About Tomorrow. That's their first of 5 on the Vent record label. Ron Presson on lead. We continue here on the All 60s edition. And here is a request for UK listener Tony Crosby listening. It's early morning over there. Tony's a night owl. He's been in all my shows. But I had a day show at 1 o'clock on Mondays. They do. That's kind of like going to be an ad hoc show. I had all up tempos last week. I think I'm going to do all ballads this coming Monday on that show. But because of one of my Philadelphia listeners, he's into the ballads. I'm going to do it for him. But This is a request for Tony Crosby, the lead singer of this group, started back in 1956, a member of the DuPonts. In 1957, he became lead of another vocal group. They were called the Chesters. They recorded on Apollo Records. And in 1958, he met up with ex-Valentine lead singer. His name was Richard Barrett, and he was the A&R man for record mogul George Golner. Of course, George Golner, he owned Gone, and all those cool New York that New York labels with Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, the Chantels, etc. So they were looking for new talent, and he signed the group in 1958 and called them the Imperials. Now, their first release, you know the song, it was called Tears on My Pillow. Now, when they promoted that song, they went on Dick Clark's American Bandstand to lip sync the song. Clark introduced them not as the Imperials, he introduced them as Little Anthony and the Imperials, and that name stuck with the group forever. Then in 1961, the group disbanded, but they got together again in 1964, and they met up with Teddy Randazzo, who brought them over to his buddy Don Costa, had a new label called DCP International Records, where they found success again in the mid-1960s with songs like Hurt So Bad, Going Out of My Head, and others. Then in 1966, Don Costa, he sold the label to United Artists, and they purchased the DCP catalog and moved all those acts over to their subsidiary label, Veep Records. So that's how come you can find some of those hits on both the DCP label and Veep Records. But in all, there were 19 releases by Little Anthony Imperials on Veep Records, and this was their second that Tony requested, a tune written by Teddy Randazzo and Victoria Pike. This was number 40 on WMCA right here in New York City, and number 35 on WORD in Daytona Beach, Florida. It features Anthony Guardine on lead, going out to Tony from listening in the UK in our YouTube chat room, July 1966, Little Anthony and the Imperials with their tune called Gonna Fix You Good Every Time You're Bad.
Down, I ain't fooling around no more.
That's going out to UK listener Tony Crosby in our YouTube chat room. That's Little Anthony and the Imperials, July 1966 on the Veep label. Gonna fix you good, parentheses, every time you're bad. Johnny G trying to be good tonight, spinning these cool 45s out of my collection here. Here's a flip side from last week as I featured Lou D. Washington on Gordon Keith's Steeltown record label out of Gary, Indiana. The song was called Smokey. Speaking of smoky, it's been smoky here on the East Coast with those fires out in Canada. And then we even have fires in the state of New Jersey. So they actually let the school out early today. My sister called my mother here this afternoon and said they're letting us out at 3 o'clock and they're canceling all the activities after school because it was eerie. It was like a red hue. It was like red when you looked outside this morning and you saw it looked like the fog coming in. It looked like a horror flick, I'm telling you. It was, and you can smell the smoke too. So I had the windows closed. I had the AC on in here, but the song I played last week was called Smokey. Now the flip side is an excellent ballad that Lou D. Washington wrote, but it's actually a duet. He does this with a gal by the name of Rose Kelly. I found out some info though on Lou D. Washington. He was an actor. He was known for playing a part in a 1990 movie. If you saw the movie called House Party, he is in that movie. He's a really big guy in that movie, but he was also one of the original 5 founders of this label, Steeltown Records, who first recorded Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. The early Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 singles were on Steeltown Records. But let's go to 1967. Give a listen to this duet with Lou D. Washington and Rose Kelly on Steeltown Records. It's called The Way a Romance Should Be.
I hunger for your touch.
We'll send that one out to Adrian in our YouTube chat room. He likes the ballads there. That's Lou D. Washington and Rose Kelly, 1967, The Way a Romance Should Be. Came out on the Steeltown record label, the flip side of Smoky, where it's actually been smoky in many areas. I guess we need the rain to really get rid of that smoke, I think, is a way that will go away. But anyway, let's continue here. Here is, let's send this next record out to listener Cheryl Morgan. These sisters, Beryl Candy Nelson and Suzanne Nelson, along with Jeanette Johnson, formed in a group in Port Richmond, New York. Their debut 45 came out on the R&L label in 1963. Now, Cheryl likes their first of two on the Cameo label, although I don't know if that Candy and the Kisses is the same, Charlene, because that might be a West Coast group. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look into this research, but this is definitely a Philly record. A tune written by Kenny Gamble and Jerry Ross, produced by Jerry Ross, and arranged by Jimmy Wisner, and it's a dance that we're all going to get up and do, so get ready for the dance, folks. This charted number 51 on Billboard, 39 on Cashbox, number 19 on the R&B chart, number 4 on WAMS in Wilmington, Delaware. We go back to October 1964 for Candy and the Kisses on the Cameo label. So let's all get up and do the 81. We'll send that one out to Cheryl Morgan. The 81 is the name of the tune. Candy and the Kisses, the first of two on the Cameo label, October 1964. How do you do with the 81? I mean, do you like dance in an 8? Do you make like do you like walk around or dance around in an 8 and then you do the 1? I don't know. Anyway, but it's definitely a cool dancing tune, I have to say. Anyway, we continue here on the All 60s edition, and let's send this next tune out to listener Adrian Viterbo. He is in under his wife's name, as many of you call him Sari, I think, but that's his wife's name. But he is in the room as Adrian, and he likes the ballads. And he asked me, he sent me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com, and he asked me about this song by another group. He said if I knew the group Smokey 007 and his Exciters. And I didn't recognize the group, but I looked at a photo of the label, and it is a Jamaican 45, and I saw it was stereo, so I said, this is like 1970, but this is not the original version of the song. So I mentioned to Adrian, I said, Adrian, that is a cover of a tune from early 1970, and I can play the original version of this song, which is done by another Jamaican group, but it's the B-side of a big hit that they had. The A-side was a song called Israelites. It came out in 1969. It was a big hit for the group on Uni, number 9 on Billboard, 8 on Cashbox. But my Aunt Mary bought the 45 for the B-side of the record. The group was called Desmond Decker and the Aces, and this was their first of 2 on the Uni label. Now, Desmond's real name was Desmond Decker, and he co-wrote this tune. So, Adrian, I hope you like this version here. I do. I like it a lot. March 1969. It's a B-side. Desmond Decker and the Aces on Uni. It's called My Precious World, parenthesis, The Man, for Adrian. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there from March 1969, Desmond Decker and the Aces. That's going out to Adrian in our YouTube chat room. My Precious World, parentheses, the man. The flip side of the Israelites is that, which was a big hit for them. That came out on the Uni label. It was unfortunate, though, that we lost Desmond Decker on May 25th, 2006 at the age of 64. Passed away from a heart attack, but we remember him here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue now. Let's go to Saginaw, Michigan. Brian, well, no, Brian's not in Michigan. Brian's in Wisconsin. So, but these records cross over into the state of Wisconsin, and I think this might go for a little bit of money. I don't know. I forget what I paid for this, but they are from Saginaw, Michigan. They formed in 1964, but they didn't record until 1966 for George Lerner's MPAC record label. They had 2 releases, and I think this is the one that is sought after. It's their first on MPAC Records. Now, the group consisted of Brent Anderson, Edgar Donahue, Willie Hawkins, and Vandy Lee. Collectively, they were known as the Ringleaders. Cool name, the Ringleaders. This charted number 35 on WBEE in Chicago. Let's go to June of 1966. Give a listen to the Ringleaders. The Ringleaders on MPAC Records. It's called Baby, What Has Happened to Our Love? The Ringleaders.
Myself still in needing your baby on my side. Ooh, baby, I can't sleep at night. Baby, what has happened to our love? Baby, what has happened to our love? Why can't you see? Without love, nothing can be. Without your love, I can't go on. It's another day, but the same old song. Ooh, baby, baby, what has happened to our love? Baby, what has happened to our love? Baby, what has happened to our love? Why can't you see? Without love, nothing can be. Without your love, I can't go on. It's another day, but the same old song. Ooh, baby, my lonely heart cries. Baby, what has happened to our love?
That group called the Ringleaders there, June 1966, on the MPAC record label. Baby, What Has Happened to Our Love? I have to say something here about one of my listeners. Actually, a few of my listeners have recently passed away. We lost George Tompkins a couple weeks ago, one of my biggest fan on my Saturday night show, and I used to listen to him as a kid when I used to tune in to, we used to be a disc jockey at Westchester Community College here in Westchester County, New York, and then he moved to he used to be a host of the R&B Review for many, many years with Sal Mondrone, and I used to listen to him as a young collector, and he turned me on to so many records. He found out I did this show probably about 8 years ago, and he was been a fan, but he has recently passed away. A very sad thing. And also another listener, when I signed on with Oldies and More Radio, he used to come into my chat room all the time. His name was Chipper, and his daughter just came into the chat room here to tell us. I knew that he passed away, but his name was Charles, but we knew him as Chipper. And very sad thing when you lose someone you love in your life. But we will remember him as we remember all the musicians and people that have gone on to wherever, heaven, I guess we'll say, really. But it's a sad thing. So many people that since I've been doing this since 2005 that have tuned into the show, because again, this is music for people that were listening in the 1950s. They were young, and now my parents, same thing. My father's 92, my mother's 87. I almost lost them in October with this awful disease, COVID, but they miraculously survived. And now my mother is watching this show. She says, "Johnny, set it up. I want to watch the show. I love to read the chat, and I love the music you play." So there you go. And again, at least I listen to music to really make me feel better and happy. That's what I do. Is I didn't put on the next record here, so let me do that here. Let me set this one up. There you go. Okay, I got it there. So, let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure show. And we just heard the Ringleaders there. Let's go to this next group. They're from Harlem, New York, and this is their debut single on Joe Evans' Carnival record, the tune written by Ronald McCoy. He was a member of a group called The Topics, who also recorded on the Carnival label, but this tune charted on the Billboard R&B chart. It peaked at number 41, but was a big number 6 record on WJMO in Cleveland, Ohio. That's one of the stations that I'm going to do. I'm going to do their survey, or I'm going to pick a year, a week and a year, and do that survey countdown. I just have to make sure I have all the records and I can find them. But this is their first of 6 on Carnival. I love this ballad from October 66. Lee Williams and the Cymbals on the Carnival label, and the tune is called I Love You More.
Kiss you, to want to hug you,
We'll send that one out to Adrian. I think that's a cool record there. Cool record by Lee Williams and the Symbols, their first of 6 on the Carnival label, October 1966. I Love You More is the name of the tune. And that's, Brian, that's a styrene 45 that plays great. You know, I hate styrene 45s. They wear out too quickly, especially if you have a worn needle and a heavy tone arm. Two bad things for styrene records. And Brian wants me to do an all styrene show, but play VG minus records. That'll just drive you crazy. Johnny G here on a Wednesday evening on Oldies and More Radio. Hope you're digging on the tune. If you like what you hear, please give me a thumbs up on my YouTube page, as we are over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all for that, which prompted the Monday afternoon show at 1 o'clock. I do it for a couple hours. It went really well. I got a big response from that show, but it's going to be a diverse show, that show. Different types of music from my collection, so stay tuned for that. Plus, I plan on getting some collectors to come up here and share their collections here and talk about their collecting hobby. That'll be very interesting here. But let's continue here for this request for Tony Crosby, listening over in the UK, a diehard fan of the Vinyltreasure show. Been featuring this gal from Kingstree, South Carolina over the last few weeks. I think the last couple of weeks I played her first 2 records on ABC Paramount. Last week I played her first release from October 61 called Think of Me, and I think the week before her follow-up, which was called After All We've Been Through. But in those were on ABC Paramount. But in 63 she signed with Wand Records. She had 18 releases through 1967, and UK listener Tony Crosby requested her 13th. This tune written by Rudy Clark, produced by Steve Terrell, and this charted number 6 on WJLB in Detroit, Michigan. As I mentioned, I have a trashed copy of this, but it's vinyl, so let's see how it plays. April 1966, going out to Tony. This is Maxine Brown on Juan Records. It's called 1 in a Million. little bit distortion on that, but that record is played a lot. They didn't take care of that 45 wherever had it. I put the toothbrush and the Dawn dishwashing liquid to it also. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. You have to play the record. That's what you have to do. But that's a cool tune by Maxine Brown, April 1966, going out to Tony Crosby on the Juan record label. 1 in a Million is the name of the tune. Retta Hughes also covered this in 1967 for Columbia Records. I got to check to see if I have that Retta Hughes disc. Anyway, let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures, and up next, this is a special request for Philly listener Paul Greco, if he's still there. So I tried to get in Paul's requests early. I was looking for the Bob Brady record. I didn't find it. I'd been trying to file a lot of these 60s records so I can pull them out. They're all over the place. So I have about, 10 boxes of 200 that have put together. But I can only do it on certain days. I can. But this group is out of Garfield, New Jersey, and they formed back in 1965. They signed with Atlantic Records and had a number of big hits like Good Lovin' and in 66, Groovin' in 1967, People Gotta Be Free in 1968, and all with Felix Cavaliere on lead. Now here is their 9th release, which Felix co-wrote, but he's not doing lead. He co-wrote it with the lead singer Eddie Brigatti, and I rarely play hits this big on the Vinyl Treasure program, but it is a special request for listener Phil Greco. When I think, what did you say, Phil, when you were dating your wife, you really, your future wife, you really don't know. Same thing with me and Barbara. I'm saying, do I really need to get married? How do I know how can I be sure about it? Nobody really can be sure until you try it. But anyway, this was a big hit for the group, and this charted number 4 on Billboard, number 2 on Cashbox, a big number 1 record on KPOL in Honolulu, Hawaii, from August 67, going out to Paul Greco in our YouTube chat room, the Young Rascals on Atlantic, with a hit. It's called How Can I Be Sure?
How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? How can I be sure where I stand with you? Whenever I'm away from you, I wanna die, 'cause you know I wanna stay with you. How do I know? Maybe you're trying to use me. Flying too high can confuse me. Touch me but don't take me down. Whenever I'm away from you, my alibi is telling people I don't care for you.
That's the sound of the Young Rascals here on the All 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show, August 1967. How Can I Be Sure is the name of the tune. That's by request for listener Paul Greco. Now, the interesting thing about this, this was their with their, I should say, this was their 10th release, I think. No, this was their 9th release on Atlantic. I think with their 11th release, they dropped the Young, and they recorded as the Rascals, and I think their next 9 releases were as the Rascals. I think A Beautiful Morning was the one that they came out as the Rascals. Anyway, Johnny G being a rascal here, let's go back to Detroit, Michigan, to Ed Wingate's Golden World record label with a flip side from last week. I featured the Debonairs from October of 1966 with the side COD, Collect on Delivery, and it featured 15-year-old Diane Hogan on lead. Let's flip the 45 over here, give a listen to the flip side. It's their second of 4 on Golden World Records, again with Diane Hogan on lead. The name of the tune is called How's Your New Love Treating You? The Debonairs.
The smile you're wearing, is it real? Is this the way you really feel? The girl who took my place, does she suit your taste? How's your new love treating you now? Treating you, treating you now, treating you. Does she let you have your and give her all day by day? Was part of a mistake? Look me in the face and tell me, how's your new love treating you now? Treating you, treating you now, treating you. You always look so well. You make it hard to tell how your new love treating you now. Treating you, treating you now, treating you. I still love you, and I'm concerned. That's why I'm trying hard to learn. Treating you, all the things she's doing that I didn't do. How's your new love treating you now? Treating you, treating you now, treating you, treating you now,
Girl group sounds here on the All 60s edition. Those are the Debonairs. Debonairs from October 1966 out of Detroit on Golden World Records. How's Your New Love Treating You is the name of the tune. 15-year-old Diane Hogan on lead there, and they have other releases, I think Revelot, and also 2 on the Solid Hit label with a nice girl group sound there on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue now. As on last week's 60s show, I featured Eddie Holland. A request for Philly listener Paul Greco played the side Leaving Here. We had a new listener join us last week. Her name, Darlene Goodwin. She's in our YouTube chat room tonight, and she didn't know that Johnny G can't take requests at the night of the show, but she mentioned that she liked Eddie's song Jamie, which was his first of 10 on the Motown record label. And so let's give this a spin, and we're going to send it out to new listener Darlene Goodwin. She's in our chat room tonight. This is charted number 40 on Cashbox, 30 on Billboard, number 6 on the R&B chart, number 2 on KFXM if you were listening in San Bernardino, California. And Brian, this is Norm's Styrene Press of it. This is going out to Darlene, October 1961, the great Eddie Holland on Motown Records. The song is called Jamie. This is for Darlene.
Listen, my friends, while I tell you about a girl that's so divine. I love her for the joy she's brought me, 'cause she's mine, all mine. Oh, Jamie, talking about Jamie, talking about Jamie, that's my love. Hair so long and pretty, eyes that shine like gold. She has the kind of love for me that will never, never grow. Oh, Jamie, I'm talking about Jamie. Oh, talking about Jamie. That's my girl. Oh, she comforts me when I am sad now. She sticks with me when times are bad. She kisses me and holds me so tight. To me, she's out of sight. Oh, lips so warm and tender, kisses so divine. I thank the Lord up above for making Jamie all mine. I'm so glad to belong to her, and she's mine, all mine. Oh, Jamie, talking about Jamie, yeah, talking about Jamie. That's my girl. Here she comes. Ha! Talking about Jamie. Talking about Jamie.
There you go. That's Eddie Holland. Eddie Holland there. We're going to send it out to Darlene Goodwin in our YouTube chat room. But she wants to dedicate this song to the woman who takes her blood sugar every Tuesday. Her name is Jamie. So that's going out to your, well, the technician who takes Darlene's blood. I tried to do my mother's to do for the my mother also, she's pre-diabetic, and I never can get it right. I never can get the blood to go in that little thing to check for the level of the sugar in the blood. But I will get it right. I think I got to buy new. We're running out of those things that you stick in that machine there. But anyway, there you go. The great sound of Eddie Holland. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures, and this is a flip side from last week. I featured a group called the Charades on the OK record label, played their debut single called Love of My Life. But let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down. In the No Humidity Basement, the tune written by Larry Weiss. He was the one who discovered this group up in Chicago. This is also, it was arranged and conducted by Horace Ott. I tell you collectors out there, when you're looking through record boxes, you see Horace Ott, buy the 45. This is from April 64. These are the Charades on OK Records. It's called Can't Make It Without You. That's a nice tune there by the Charades, April 1964 on OK Records. Can't Make It Without You is the name of the tune. Hopefully you're making it with Johnny G here on a Wednesday evening right here on Oldies and More Radio, also live on YouTube. Thank you all for subscribing to the program, as I think I have like 1,018 now, moving up here as we grow the station. Yes, we do. But up next, a singer originally from Los Angeles, California, began recording back in 1957 with a group called The Echoes, recorded for the Combo label. I have featured that 45 on my Saturday night show. But her real name was Darlene Wright, and in 1958 she would join a group called The Blossoms, first recording for Capitol Records back in 1958. But through the 1960s, that Blossoms group did tons and tons of session work and also their own releases too. Now, Phil Spector, he would hire the group for some session work in 1962, and they were to back up the Crystals, for some reason didn't show up to that recording session, but Spector said, well, Darlene, why don't you take the lead here on the song? Thus, she recorded a song called He's a Rebel, and they put it out as the Crystals, but she was the lead singer, and she signed with Phyllis Records in 1963, and she had 5 singles on the label. They were all great, in my opinion, as is this one. This is her 5th and final release, and probably the hardest of all those 5 singles to find. This charted number 50 on WIBG in Philadelphia. It's a great 2-sided 45, by the way. Let's go to July of 1964 for Miss Darlene Love. Darlene Love on Phyllis Records. The song is called Stumble and Fall. That's the great sound of Darlene Love there. July 1964, Stumble and Fall, her fifth and final single on the Phillips record label. She lives not too far from Johnny G. I think she's in Rockland County. She's doing something. I saw her ad on Facebook, so she is still performing today. Of course, she does a great Christmas record, Christmas Baby, Please Come Home, my favorite Christmas tune by Darlene Love. Let's continue here. Let's go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now for this next singer. He previously was the lead singer of the Skyliners. They had a couple of big hits in 1959 on the Calico label. Of course, Since I Don't Have You, I think, was their biggest hit. Their second, I think, was This I Swear. Two great sides by that Pittsburgh group. But he would leave the group for a solo career beginning in 1961, recording for a number of different labels: Colpix, May, Gallant, and this one on Burt Burns' Bang record label. Let's give a spin to his second of two. This is the harder of the two, a tune written by Joe Simmons, arranged and conducted by Artie Butler. Let's go to June of 1966. Give a listen to Jimmy Beaumont. Jimmy Beaumont, previously lead singer of the Skyliners on Bang Records. The song is called You Got Too Much Going On For You.
Something you wanna try. You got that look, old as the world in your eye. I need someone good for me. I don't need no misery. And you got too much going.
That's the sound of Jimmy Beaumont there, lead singer of the Skyliners. June 1966 release on Burt Burns' Bang record label. You Got Too Much Going For You is the name of the tune. I saw one of his final performances. Barbara and I went to the music hall here in Terrytown, and we saw them sing. I think nothing looked wrong with him. But then 2 weeks later, or a week later, he passed away. It was unfortunate. That was October 7th of 2017. He was 76 years old. He looked fine there, but I don't know, and I don't know what the ailment was. But unfortunate there, the great voice of Jimmy Beaumont. Let's continue here. Up next, a request for UK listener Tony Crosby, up in the wee hours over in the UK. And we go back to Detroit for this sound of Diana Ross and the Supremes, first recording for Motown Records in 1961. They would have 36 releases with Diana Ross as a member of the group, and I'm including their singles with the Temptations, of course. But Tony requested a B-side. This is a B-side to their 21st release on Motown Records. The A-side was a record that I do like by them, and I like the Supremes. I do. Love Is Here and Now You're Gone. And I remember seeing Diana Ross. She used to live in Connecticut, and I don't know what I was doing in a Connecticut pathmark, or it was like on the cusp of New York and Connecticut. Either I was coming home from visiting someone or whatever, and she was there. It was a long time ago, because she had these two little kids with her, and she was checking out at I should have said, "Can you please sign my buttered popcorn 45s," which I wish I should have brought with me, but I didn't. But anyway, this is the flip side of Love Is Here and Now You're Gone. And both sides of this 45 written by the hit writing team of Holland Dozier Holland, of course, with Diana Ross on lead. This is going out to Tony Crosby in our YouTube chat room, January 67, the Supremes on Motown. It's called There's No Stopping Us Now. Got the now.
There's no stopping us now, now that we found our way. There's no stopping us now, our Lord is here to stay. Foolishly we've been apart, breaking each other's heart. Stubbornness and foolish pride caused us to push love aside. The loneliness from being a part of
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there going out to UK listener Tony Crosby, Diana Ross, and the Supremes. That's the B-side to Love Is Here and Now You're Gone from January 67. There's No Stopping Us Now on the Motown label. How about a twin spin with the Supremes? This is another B-side to the group's sixth release on the Motown record label. Now, the A-side almost broke the top 20 nationally, made it up to number 23. The song called When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, another song that I like. But this is the B-side here, another Holland Dozier Holland penned tune, again with Diana Ross on lead. This one from October 63, the flip side of When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes. The Supremes on Motown. It's called Standing at the Crossroads of Love, the Supremes. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Supremes. That's the B-side to When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, October 1963. Diana Ross and the Supremes. That's their sixth release on the Motown label. As the copyright police, they're flashing their lights behind me. Come on, officer, please. I didn't mean to do anything wrong here. I don't even know. Just let me play these original vinyl 45s for the listeners here. I own these records, and I should be able to play them. I'm not making any money on them. You can make all the money you want on them. I just want them to be heard is what I do. But anyway, let's continue now. And on last week's show, I featured this group out of Los Angeles, California. They had 11 releases on the Audio Arts label. I featured their first. It was called I Can't Get Over Losing Your Love. And this is their second. This is their follow-up, which I guess we can consider their biggest hit. This tune written by the lead singer. His name is Cal Wayman. He was also the lead singer of a 1950s group, the Shamans, I think, is the name of that group. On K-Ham, I think, is the label. Another California label. But this charted number number 109 on Billboard, was number 39 on the R&B chart, a big number 2 record if you were listening on KGFJ in Los Angeles, California. Let's go to June of 1966. They were called The Incredibles. The Incredibles on Audio Arts. The song is called I'll Make It Easy, parentheses, If You'll Come On Home. The Incredibles.
It was easy for me to run around 'cause I thought you'd never put me down. It was easy for me to cheat and lie 'cause I thought you'd never say goodbye. Girl, but now that you're gone and I'm all alone, my nights get longer and longer and longer. Oh, I feel so sad 'cause I treated you so doggone bad, and you were the best girl I've ever had. You know it's hard, hard, hard living without you. My days are dark as night. It's hard, hard, hard doing without you. Come home and I swear I'll make things right. I'll make it easy if you try me one more time. Girl, I'll make it easy. Come on home and say you'll be mine. And I'll make it easy. Bring your fire. I'll make it yourself on home. I'll make it.
They're out of California there. They're called The Incredibles. Cal Wayman, he's the lead singer. He also wrote the tune from June 66, I'll Make It Easy, parentheses, If You'll Come On Home, on Audio Arts Records. That comes multiple ways. I think the green label is the first, or maybe the black label. I don't know. It comes styrene too, by the way. Let's continue here for another flip side from last week. Actually, it was Tom Shaughnessy. Listener Tom Shaughnessy, a big fan of the show. He wanted me to flip over that Tammy Lavon 45. Last week I played the song, what was it called? A Schoolgirl's Dream. I think many of you enjoyed that ballad. It was a very nice ballad by Tammy Lavon. But let's flip it over, give a listen to the B-side. This is on the Nation label, and she had an earlier release on Nation as Jackie Beavers, but she changed the name. She didn't want to be confused with the male singer Jackie Beavers, so she became Tammy Lavon. This is from April 66, going out to Tom Shaughnessy in Florida. Tammy Lavon on Nation. It's called Show Me the Way.
Show me the way to get my city back. Show me the way to get on the right track.
That's the powerful voice of Tammy Lavon. That's going out to a listener, Tom Shaughnessy, April 1966. Show Me the Way is the name of the tune on the Nation record label, the B-side to A Schoolgirl's Dream, a great ballad on the flip. And we continue here. Now, this is a request for a Philly listener, Paul Greco, and he's going to tune into the program at 6 a.m. when he gets up to tune in for the remainder of the program. So that's when he'll hear this request. And this next singer, he's from Washington, D.C. Feature him here quite a bit on the 60s show. I know many of you have voiced your opinion. You just love his songs. So we're going to play the flip side of this too, by the way. But he first recorded for Chess Records back in 1956 with the song Billy's Blues, but he returned to Chess in 62, and he had 19 releases in all on the label. This is his sixth, and a song that he wrote. This is arranged by Phil Wright, and this charted number 26 on Billboard, number 6 on the R&B chart, a big number 1 record on WWIN in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, I'm going to predict that Adrian is going to like this song. That's my prediction. This is going out to Paul Greco, February 65. Billy Stewart on Chess Records, and his tune called I Do Love You. This is for Paul in Philly.
I do love you, but it's
soda right now. Never gonna let you go. La la la, pretty little baby, I want you to try to understand that I want to. Someday, because I love you so bad now. It's about to drive me mad, girl. I said I do love you. I do love you.
That's the great sound of Billy Stewart there, February 1965 release, I Do Love You. That one there on the Chess record label by request for Paul Greco. We'll send it out to AZ Mick, who just came into the YouTube chat room. Now let's flip over this 45, because I like the flip side too. You know, it was very unfortunate that Billy Stewart died much too soon. He passed away, or he died in a awful car accident, January 17th of 1970. I forget the name of the bridge that the car went over. I think also 3 or 4 of his band members also perished. It just went off the bridge. I think he lost control of the car, and it broke through the barrier, and it plummeted into the water below. And unfortunately, they all drowned. That was a terrible, terrible accident that took the life of Billy Stewart. There was a wonderful, I don't know if it was PBS or somebody put out a wonderful documentary about Billy Stewart. There was cool clips and home movies. It was really interesting. You know, Billy Stewart was a big guy. He did a song called The Fat Man too, by the way. But let's flip over the I Do Love You by Billy Stewart, because I like the flip side here too. Tune written by Billy Stewart, Carl Smith, and Raymond Minor. This is from February 65, the B-side to I Do Love You. The name of the tune is called Keep Loving Billy Stewart.
Test, but we gotta keep loving, hey, pretty baby, keep loving. Oh, I just wanna tell you right now, at times we were glad and at times we were mad, but our love was strong than the pain we had. Some girls were tempting and other guys tried, but their beauty and sweet talk all died. Still we gotta keep loving, right, the baby, keep loving, oh, yeah. Keep loving, yeah, baby, keep loving, oh, I wanna tell you one time, at times we were glad and at times we were mad, but our love was stronger than the pain we had. Some girls were tempting and other guys tried, but their beauty and sweet talk all died. Still we gotta keep loving, yeah, baby, keep loving. I just wanna tell you right now, tell us right now, keep loving, my baby, keep loving, hey, 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 keep loving, keep loving, baby, wanna tell you right now, keep loving.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's his B-side to his 8th release on the Chess record label, the flip side of Do I Love You, song entitled Keep Lovin', February 1965 on Chess Records. A great sound of Billy Stewart out of Washington, D.C. But let's stay in Washington, D.C. for this group. They first recorded on the Smash label back in 1966, 1967. Then they did 3 on Jimmy Webb and Dallas Smith's Lionel label. This is the B-side to their second, a tune written by Landy McNeil. He was an ex-member of the Corsairs that recorded for Tough Records. I think he came after they had their hit Smoky Places. Again, here we go. Speaking of smoke here that we had from the Canadian fires, it was so eerie today here in New York City with the orange haze that was hanging over us. But anyway, he also had some solo releases. This is Well, that was Lanny McNeil, that is. But let's give a listen to this group as we do a touch of the 70s here. This one came out in September of 1970. These are the Satisfactions on the Lionel label. It's called Turn Back the Tears.
But I was a stone blind fool. Well, now I realize, 'cause when you left, my heart went too, and how I long to be with you. 'Cause I can't make it, baby. I can't make it, baby. Without you, please, my world is need you so. If I could put love in the book of ages, all I have to do is turn the page. Oh, yeah, and turn back the tears. Start all over. Turn back the tears, yeah. Turn back the
Touch of the 70s here on the All 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Satisfactions. The Satisfactions on the Lionel record label. Turn Back the Tears is the name of the tune. That is the B-side to their second release on Lionel Records. Let's go back to Detroit now for another gal of Motown. She signed with Berry Gordy Jr.'s a Motown label back in 1960. Her debut single was a song called Bye Bye Baby. She went on to have 13 releases for the Motown record label, but she left the label in 1964, which turned out to be a big mistake for her in retrospect now, if you look back at it. But let's give us listen to her 9th release on the Motown label, written by and produced by that hit team writing trio of Holland, Dozier, Holland. This charted number 22 on Billboard and Cashbox, number 10 on the R&B chart. This was a number 1 record, though, on WEBB in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's go to August of 1963 for Miss Mary Wells. Mary Wells on Motown. It's called You Lost the... Is that right? Yes. You Lost the Sweetest Boy, Mary Wells. Mary Wells there from August 1963 on the Motown record label. You Lost the Sweetest Boy is the name of the tune there. And what did I say? That was her what was this number here? Her ninth of 13 releases on the Motown record label. John G losing his mind here on a Wednesday evening. Let's go to Chicago now for this next 45. Now, this is the younger brother of soul legend Jerry Butler, and his younger brother had 7 releases on the OK label. Let's give a listen to his first. This tune co-written by Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield, of course, was the lead singer of The Impressions, and this one arranged by Johnny Pate, produced by Carl Davis. We stay in 63. We stay in August of 63 for Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters. Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters. I paid $1 for this 45 on OK Records. It's a nice hard vinyl promo. It's called Lady Love.
Tear it apart, and there's nothing I can
lost the phone here. Hold on. Sounds of Chicago here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters, August 1963 on the OK record label, Lady Love, the name of the tune. Let's continue here for this next gal. She had 3 releases on the White Whale record label out of Los Angeles, California. This is her first, released in January of 1968, and I don't know what to say here, but her name is Denny Lynn. Denny Lynn. It's on White Whale Records from January 68. It's called Where Was Your Heart?
Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart? Where was your heart? Times you lied. Where was your heart? The nights that I cried over you. Over you. Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart? Where was your heart? I heard it beat and placed my love right at your feet for you, just for you. While I was falling in love, who were you thinking of? Who was in your heart? Oh, moment of love. Who were you thinking of? Where was your heart? Where was your heart? The times you lied. Where was your heart? The nights that I cried over you. Over you. Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart when you told me you loved me? Where was your heart?
Her name is Denny Lynn. Denny Lynn, that was January 1968. Where Was Your Heart came out on the White Whale record label. Like, evidently, it came out twice. It came out on 282 White Whale and 284 in October of 68. Interesting. She had later releases on Uni and also on the MGM record label. So when Johnny G was going to junior high school, I used to walk from my home to the Washington Irving Junior High School. So I would go into town and I would go to Woolworths. We had a local Woolworths, and they were pretty cool because they would always have 4.45s for $1. They would call it hits. They would be in the little plastic wraps, you know. So I would go in there, and they usually had 50 copies of one record. Sometimes I bought 2. Sometimes I was buying everything that they had in the rack. So whatever was different, excuse me, usually lots of Motown singles with BB holes in them, etc., and other records. I just bought them, and this is one record that I bought there at that Woolworths. Now, they would be maybe a year later, or maybe 8 or 9 months later, and what they were rejects from record stores. They returned the records for credit, and the record company would go and mark it up and sell it to a one-stops, and then these companies or these stores like Caldors or Alexander's or grants or whatever would go there and they would buy them. So that's where I paid 25 cents for this record as we go to Detroit, Michigan. Now, after Holland Dozier Holland left Motown Records in 1967 over a dispute about what else? Royalties, they set up their own label and they called it Hot Wax Records. And they put together a group and they called them 100 Proof Aged in Soul. And I think they might have even kicked off the Hot Wax label. But there were other cool acts on the label. The Honeycomb, for instance, had a big hit on the label with Want Ads. But this is one of the earlier releases here. And Joe Stubbs, who was Levi Stubbs' brother, he was co-lead singer on this, along with Steve Mancha, who is the lead singer on this, I think. And the other members of this group included Eddie Holiday and Herschel Hunter. This is their second of 10 on the Hot Wax label from the LP of the same title of the song. They put out an LP. The tune written by General Norman Johnson, Angelo Bond, and Gregory Perry, who also produced it. And I remember listening to this record on the radio, and I really liked it. From July 1970, let's give a listen to 100 Proof Aged in Soul on the Hot Wax record label. It's called Somebody's Been Sleeping. That's a cool tune there. I remember that one there, listening to that on the radio. I love that record. July 1970 release. 100 proof aged in soul on the Hot Wax record label. Somebody's been sleeping. Nobody's been sleeping in my bed lately, I can tell you that much, as we continue here on the All 60s edition. And here's a request for listener Adrian Viterbo. It was interesting because my Aunt Mary knew that I liked this music so much, and what would happen is she would call the house and say, she'd tell my mother, she'd say, Maggie, tell Johnny to turn on channel whatever. There's so-and-so singing. And I forget what it was, what program it was, but she called my mother, said, Johnny, Aunt Mary says to turn on channel 5 because James and Bobby Purify are singing I'm Your Puppet. Of course, I got there late, but there they were. She was correct. She would as soon as there was something that she thought that I liked, she would call the house here. So I forget. I like the song I'm Your Puppet by James and Bobby Purify. And I remember her, and I remember seeing them sing. And I think the video is on YouTube if you check it out. But they are not brothers. They are a duo that were really cousins. One was from Pensacola, Florida. The other from Tallahassee, Florida. Of course, their big hit in 1966 came out on the Bell record label called I'm Your Puppet. That was their first of 10 on Bell. Adrian requested their follow-up, and actually I think this is the B-side though. This is not the A-side, this is the B-side. Tune written by Bob Montgomery and Don Schroeder, although this charted number 5 on KABH in Honolulu, Hawaii, but maybe, I don't know, Charlene, was this the A-side? When you check on ASRA, if you do the flip, they'll give you like 50 radio stations that it was played on. If this was only one, then it's the B-side. But I didn't check the numbers anyway. But it's January 67. This is for Adrian, James, and Bobby Purify on the Bell label. It's called You Can't Keep a Good Man Down. Now, this is on styrene. I have a mint copy of this. I didn't have a chance to look for it, so there's going to be some pop, so please excuse it, but it's still a great tune for Adrian.
It seems so hopeless, I've got so far to go.
Has damaged styrene there, unfortunately. Has a big apology there. I couldn't find the mint copy. I will, but that's a great tune. It's similar to I'm Your Puppet, but a great record by James and Bobby, Purify. January 67, their second release on the Bell label, You Can't Keep a Good Man Down. Going out to Adrian, tuned in Mexico. We continue here. We go back to Chicago for this next group, initially recording for the Tad label in 1969. Then they signed with Peter H. Wright and Howard Bendo's Twinite label, also out of Chicago. They had 3 releases on Twinite. Let's give a listen to their second. Now, the members of this group were Clifford Curry, LaSalle Matthews, Jimmy Stroud, Robert Thomas. Collectively, they were known as the Notations. This features Clifford Curry on lead from April 1971. This is the third record from early 1970s. April 71, the Notations on Twinite. It's called A New Day.
Next to you, we find ourselves fighting just for hope and peace. Ooh, to make a holiday, a day of thanks and not for feast.
Said a change is coming, but baby, it's not bad.
Oh yeah, I know you think your children might see you at last. Thank you for a new day, yeah. Thank you for a new day. That's alright. Ooh, black and white. Ooh, tell me now why we must fight. Oh, you be cool. Relax one day and shoot some pool. And then work hard to make the next day. Oh, a better one in each and every way. Said our change is coming, but baby, it won't be bad. No, it won't. Oh yeah, I know you think your children might see you at last. Thank you for a new day, yeah. Thank you for a new day. That's alright. You changed my life. We gon' get together someday, somehow. Yes, we are. Oh yeah. So come on, let's make it right now. Thank you for a new day, yeah. Thank you, baby. That's alright. Thank you for a new day. Oh yeah. You changed my life, man. Yes, you did.
Whoops! They're called the Notations. They're the Notations from April 1971 on the Twinite record label. A New Day is the name of the tune. It will be a new day pretty soon. It's almost midnight here. We might do a little bit of overtime. So Tony, maybe they got the same label on the both sides, because it didn't say DJ. So let me find the record. It is behind me, so I'm going to get it. We'll test it out though, because Tony requested a record there by lost the place there. by Bobby Garrett. And I found it, but I looked, it had the same song on both sides, but let me check it out. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's just got they have the same label. I don't know, but we'll check it out. But let's continue here. And I don't know anything about this next singer. Her name is Gladys King, except that the song was written by Morris Bailey and arranged by Bert Keys. And this appears to be her only release. It came out on ABC Records, October 1967. Gladys King on ABC. Interesting title. It's called Orange. Orange. Orange.
I'd like to be your main squeeze. If you were coffee, I'd be your can of cream. Be a river, I'll fall in and let you drown my heart. I'll be anything, I'll go anywhere. I'll do anything you want me to do, as long as you say you love me too. Be lightning, strike me, baby, not once or twice, and that would sure be nice. Be a chain, I'll step in your track and let you run me down. I'm a question, and you're the answer, baby. Yeah, yeah, to my every prayer. All you gotta do is tell me that you love me, yeah. And I'll do for you anything as long as you want me to. Whoa, whoa, yeah. I just want to be your love. I just want to be your love. And I'll do anything that you want me to, just as long as you say you love me too. Just remember to add it together and make a groovy tune, yeah. I'll be anything you want me to be, yeah. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for thee. For you, oh, I like to baby, for you. I wanna be your arms, baby. If you want some coffee, oh, I like to be your
There you go. She wants to be your main squeeze. That's Gladys King. October 1967 release on the ABC record label. Orange is the name of that tune. Let's continue here. Here's a flip side from last week as we go back to Philadelphia. Featured the Temp Tones from February 1967 on Arctic Records. Of course, the Temp Tones, they were all attending Temple University at the time when they recorded on Jimmy Bishop's Arctic record label. The side I featured last week was called Girl, I Love You, and it features Daryl Hall on lead. Yes, the same Daryl Hall that recorded as Hall & Oates. He's on lead. He also is doing lead on the flip side, so let's flip the 45 over. February 1967. These are the Temp Tones, Temptones. This is on the Arctic label. I found this in the wild, a beat copy for 5 cents. What do you want? It's called Goodbye. Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates is the lead singer.
Soul lost its savor. What do you do when your gum lost its flavor? What do you do when the well runs dry?
A group called the Temp Tones. The Temp Tones there with a very young Daryl Hall on lead, February 1967, on the Arctic record label, song entitled Goodbye. Not goodbye yet. As we continue here. And this next singer, he is originally from Beckley, West Virginia. He moved out to Detroit in the late 1960s. His real name is Dwight D. Turner, but you know him as Spider Turner. This is his debut single, came out on the Good Time record label. This was actually a cover tune. This was first done on RCA Records by Kenny Carter, and this is a in-demand tune here by Mr. Spider Turner, 1966 on Good Time Records. It's called I've Got to Get Myself Together, Spider Turner.
Ever since you left me
That's early Spider Turner there. That's better than the original, in my opinion. Even though Kenny Carter does a great rendition, I think that's the better version, 1966. I've Got to Get Myself Together, Spider Turner on the Good Time record label. Of course, he signed with MGM Records for 4 releases. His first release on MGM was his biggest hit. Had a big hit with the Benny King tune "Stand By Me," if you know that Spider Turner tune. Anyway, I'm looking for that Garrett single for Tony here, so you got to bear with me here, but let's continue here, and let's go to this gal from New York. Her real name was Patricia Morris. She began recording back in 1954 for the Central label, then had other releases in the 50s on Wing and Rama and Big Top and Twirl, and she recorded under different aliases, as this one, her name Patty Jerome on this release, and this record came out on American Arts, charted number 45 on WQTV in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Now, she was also an actress. She starred in the 1980 movie. Has anybody seen this blockbuster movie from 1980 called Alligator? And she also was in the movie Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. She was also married to Harry Balk, who was a successful A&R man, record producer, and label owner executive who discovered Little Willie John and also Johnny and the Hurricanes, and also co-produced hits for Del Shannon. So she made the rounds, she did. But let's give a listen to her tune here from December 64, Patty Jerome on American Arts. It's called Baby, Let Me Be Your Baby. Patty Jerome.
Since the day you said hello, you're the one I wanted so. Baby, let me be your baby. Hold your hand in mine. Baby, let me be your baby. Love you all the time.
Her name is Patty Jerome. Patty Jerome, December 64 release on American Arts Records, Baby, Let Me Be Your Baby. Yes. Johnny G's Your Baby every Wednesday night right here on Oldies and More Radio, and also on YouTube if you're new to the program. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll get emails when I go live with the broadcast. Let's continue here. Always fun finding records in the wild. This is one that I found. I didn't know anything about this artist at the time. Found found it at the 303 Drive-In Flea Market in Orangeburg, New York. Actually, it's in Rockland County. So I would go there every Sunday morning really early, and people would, clean out their houses and put their records out. So somebody put a bunch of cool records out, and they were all 5 cents a piece. I said, I'm buying these. It was like a kid in a candy shop with all these records. And I bought this one. This singer's from Portsmouth, Virginia. His first release was back in 1954. He was 12 years old, recorded for the Mechanic label as Little Jerry, and he later became recorded for Loma Records, and then Southern Sound Academy, and then this one on Nate McCall's Calla label. And this is a song he wrote, produced, and arranged. It's from October of 1965. Now, in the early 70s, he recorded as Swamp Dogg, but this is way before that. This is October 1965, Little Jerry Williams on Calla Records. It's called Just What Do You Plan to Do About It?
I love just what do you plan to do about it? Just what do you plan to do about it? I gotta know, please tell me so before I go crazy. Just what do you plan to do about it? Here comes another night and I'm alone. I got a dime in my pocket, but no one's telephone. I need love, I need it bad, and it's just about to drive me mad. Tell me, just what do you plan to do about it? If you would just ride or talk, my heart would hurt so much. But I'm just sitting here, my eyes rolling tears, and all I need is your touch. Just what do you plan to do about it? Tell me, just what do you plan to do about it? I'm so lonely, I'm so blue, and the formula is why for you. Tell me, just what do you plan to do about it?
That's Little Jerry Williams. Actually, that's the B-side of the 45. His from October of 1965. It's on the Calla record label. Just What Do You Plan to Do About It? I think that was his. I think he has another release on this label, but it was a flip side that I think was the A side here. It was called "Baby You're My Everything." That's actually a pretty good record. It's the A side. Let's play the A side of the record. Tell me what you think about this side. This is the intended A side. Little Jerry Smith. It's called "Baby You're My Everything." We'll play it. Here we go. There you go. That is the. Hold on a second, folks. Here, that is little. That is little Jerry Williams. There, October 1965, on the Cala record label. Just the flip side of Just What Do You Plan to Do About It? It's called Baby, Baby, You're My Everything. Okay, so here you go here. So Tony Crosby in the UK sent Johnny a bunch of, well, not a bunch of requests. He only sent me like 2 requests or 3 requests. So I didn't, one of them was, 2 of them were really expensive records that I didn't have. But one of them was by by Bobby Garrett. So I said, well, I have the record. I had it checked off, but I found it this morning, and I'm looking at the record here. Okay, this is the record. Okay, it says, I can't get away. Now, what was the side that you requested? What was that side, Charlene, that Tony requested? So here we go. I'm looking at this record. It's got the same label. See it? This sometimes happens. I Can't Get Away. We're going to flip it over, and it says I Can't Get Away. There you go. So what was the A side on this? So we're going to be in luck here, because one of these sides is the side that Tony requested. So My Little Girl, that's it. So let's see, Tony. Let's play the A side of this, okay? Hold on a second. We'll put it on this turntable. Let's play the A side of this here. Let's see if this is it, because this is let's see. I'm looking in the dead wax here. This is the A side. I see 1037-A. So this is I Can't Get Away. Okay? Pretty sure. Let's see. This isn't the one that Tony requested, but let's listen. Right?
Yeah, just like a puppet on a string.
He's gonna say I just can't get away.
My life to me don't mean a thing. Girl, you pull the strings.
Right? That's I Can't Get Away.
Yes, you did.
Okay, let's try the other side. Now, you see, it says I Can't Get Away, but I bet you it's the right one. Let's see. You be the judge there, Tony. You let me know. You let me know if this is your song. No, see? I'm sorry. Same song. See, we got chips. Is it instrumental track? See? Well, there you go. I thought we would be in luck there, but we're not. Sorry about that, Tony. I don't know what to tell you, but that's the way it goes. All is good in love and war. But anyway, let's continue with a little bit more here. This is a flip side from last week here. I tried, Tony. I did. There you go. But we just heard Little Jerry Williams, and let's go to. There you go. Okay, here's a flip side from last week. I featured this gal, Clydie King, last week on Imperial Records. Her third on Imperial, a song called Soft and Gentle Ways. Let's give a listen to the flip side, a great two-sided 45. It's from April 66. Clydie King on Imperial. It's called He Always Comes Back to Me, Clydie King. That's produced by Marshall Lieb, arranged by Gene Page, April 66. Clydie King, He Always Comes Back to Me is the name of that one on the Imperial record label. A couple more records to go before Johnny G signs off here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Here's a 45 my aunt purchased in early 1968. This Brooklyn, New York artist, he had started back in 1958, recorded as Bobby Pedrick Jr., and in 1967 he signed with Columbia Records and had 5 releases on Columbia, and he wrote this tune with his writing partner, Mike Gately. He used the alias at this time as Robert John, and this was probably his, well, actually, this maybe wasn't his biggest national hit. I think it was The Lion Sleeps Tonight, maybe that one in 1972 or whenever when it came out. But this was prior to it. This is arranged by Charlie Colello, number 49 on Billboard, 34 on Cashbox. This was a number 1 record on WAVZ in New Haven, Connecticut. And my aunt's copy is the grooves are all white. But I like this song, January 68, Robert John on Columbia. It's called If You Don't Want My Love, Robert John.
I have given you time for spending my hours, the fine things I bought for you, the many things I've done for you, but now you say we are through. I've given you time explaining the weather, many things I've turned your way, I taught you all the things to say, but now you say we are through. If you don't want my love, if you don't want my
I know you like that record. I know you do. That's Robert John. Robert John, January 1968 on the Columbia record banner. If You Don't Want My Love is the name of the tune. 2 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. And up next, this gal, she would join the 3 Degrees in 1966 and do lead on many of their 1970s releases on the Roulette record label. And one of their major hits, I remember buying the 45 back in 1974 on Philly International. You know the song When Will I See You Again? That one there from 1974, but she was the lead on that one. But prior to that, she had a solo career. She was discovered by Richard Barrett. We heard from Richard Barrett earlier, but he also discovered her. She had one release on the Landa label, which I do have, and 3 on the Philly-based Swan label. This is her third, a tune written by Leon Huff and Richard Barrett, who also produced it. This was number 92 on WIBG in Philadelphia. Her name is Sheila Ferguson. Sheila Ferguson, November 65 on Swan. It's called Heartbreak Memories. That's November 1965 release there, Miss Sheila Ferguson. Sheila Ferguson on the Swan record label. Heartbreak Memories is the name of the tune. Very cool tune there. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to these cool 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Also the best way to get me your requests. If I have the 45s, I will find them in my mess of 45s. If not, I'll try to seek them out, as long as they're not $3,000 soul records. That's all. That becomes a little bit expensive at this point. But I'm always looking for records and looking to buy, so I'm still in the hobby. I haven't given that up yet. It's a lot of fun. Been doing it for my entire life, so I don't really know anything else. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed the tunes out of my collection. And this is really the only time I get to listen to this music. I spend a lot of time today doing the show, but it's a lot of fun, and this is really good for me. It's been therapeutic for me. When I was away, when my parents were sick and I was away for those those few months, it was very difficult to really cope with all the things that were going on, but this is kind of very therapeutic for your host, Johnny G. So thank you all. If you missed any of the program, you can check out the replay. It'll be on momentarily as soon as I shut down here. You can also go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there. And again, that's really the best way to to tune into the show. Also, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell to get the email notifications. I'll be back here on Saturday night at 9 o'clock. If you're into vocal group harmony from the 50s and early 60s, tune into that show. This coming Monday at 1 in the afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be doing ballads, I think. Ballads for that show. So if you're into 50s and early 60s ballads, come on in at 1 o'clock if you're not doing anything at lunchtime and check it out. We'll decide, again, what I'm going to do for the other future weeks. But different genres of music, rockabilly, blues. Maybe I'll even do a bubblegum show. Who knows? I got bubblegum records in my collection, I do. But anyway, and then I'll be back next Wednesday night right here on Oldies and More and also on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends about the program. Nobody does what I do. They really don't. But anyway, but thank you all for tuning in. We're going to close the show tonight with a record I found in the wild. I did. This one here. I didn't really know anything about this gal. But this is her debut single. Her name is Shirley Vaughn, and she co-wrote this tune with Doles Dickens. This is on the Double R record label, and this is from January of '66. Her name is Shirley Vaughn, Double R Records. It's called Watch Out, Mr. Lonely. That's it for tonight, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Charlene, again, for all your help. Couldn't do it without Charlene's help today, really, so thank you for that. Thank you all for tuning in and sticking around tonight. Johnny G's got to go. It's late, and I got a date. So just want to say, everybody, so long.